Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? Kevin here coming at you with another video. I've already started doing the video and then I realized that the camera stopped recording. So I gotta go back over everything I just did, but that's okay because I want you guys to see this. Alright, I'm gonna start from the top. What I'm doing here is I'm winterizing the bike, pretty much. And there's a lot of stuff that, a lot of tips and tricks. And this will help you put away any motorcycle you have. Whether it be a Harley, whether it be a Yamaha, a Honda, whatever you own. Okay, these are a couple of great tips to help your bike ensure that you're going to have a good startup come next season. Okay, I've already started this, so I have to go over everything I've already done, which is kind of a pain in the neck, but it's worth it. Okay, so first off, I had to remove my air filter assembly, and this is my Yamaha Virago. And I've done a video on the air filter modification, and I opened up my air filter really wide. So here it is right here. I took it clear off the bike. It's held on with one clamp here, and it's held on with two bolts, two 5mm Allen head bolts. I take that clear off the bike, and then you're left with this big hole right there. That's the air intake, and then of course the whole frame is an intake, and it comes down to this tube and down to that tube, and I don't mess with any of that, but I'm going to show you what plugs these holes up on the Yamaha Viragos. Okay, and if you don't have this, you can use mothballs to put in your air filter box. If you have like a Honda with a rack of 4 carburetors, you pull your air filter out and you stick a pack of mothballs in there, and you will have no mice problem. So anyway, this is a Play-Doh cover container. It's a 3-ounce, and you can see that ridge right there on the edge. Stuff it in and go all the way up to that ridge. It's a nice tight fit. Right there, see? That's the perfect plug, so nothing's gonna get up inside there. And it's tight. Okay, so that's what I use for that. To drain the fuel tank, I have 2 fuel tanks. I have this big one right here, and I have one that's underneath that side cover right there on this side, and then it uses the fuel pump to carry it up. This bike holds over 5 gallons of fuel, so it goes a really long time. So what I do is I take off my fuel pump cover. There's a cover that goes over this, a nice chrome little cover. I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like right here. Mine was broken a while back, and I used Gorilla Glue because the tabs always break, and then I glued a washer onto the other side. Now, someone who I got a parts bike from had the same problem, but their fix was a whole lot better than mine, so I used that one. This is the one that's on my bike now. It's got an aluminum. They broke off the ear, and they just took a piece of flat stock aluminum. They took a hammer, peened it over, bent it over, see, bent it in 90. Drilled 2 holes and put 2 rivets in it, and now it's a solid mount. I mean, that ain't going anywhere. But I gotta replace my fuel pump, so what I'm gonna do is I'm leaving it off for the season, and I'll put that in my saddlebag, and I put the screw right back in it. Notice how I put my screws right back where they came from. This one goes here. I put the one up underneath here for the tank, and the one for the air filter over here, and I'm not gonna lose them. So then what I do is I undo, see where on your fuel pump where it has in and out. Out means it's going up, back up to your frame and into your carburetors. In is coming from this tank right here, has 2 tubes, a big one and a small one. One's a vent, one's a fill, and it fills up in that side tank. Then at the bottom there's another tube that comes up, comes over here through the filter. There's a filter in back here. Comes out, comes up into your pump. You want to take that off. Okay, I use the factory clamps because you can pinch them and pull them down. Once you pull them down, I made this. It's just a regular 1/4-inch hose with a fuel shutoff in case I have a full tank, which I didn't, and a fuel filter, and I stick that into the hose. Then from the hose, I go into the fuel tank, this tank right here, and drain it right out. So it sits right here on the bike and puts all the fuel into this little container, and then I can put that fuel into whatever. Now my fuel system is pretty much drained out of the tanks, You got your brass screw right here. There's 2 of them, one on each side of the bike, because I have 2 carbs. If you have 1 carb, you'll have 1. If you have 4 carbs, you'll have 4 of these screws. I drain all the fuel out of it. So there's literally no fuel in the carburetors, in the tanks, in the fuel pump, and the lines. I drain the lines down, get them all done. Okay? Because you could use stabilizer in there, but fuel is only good for 30 days. Stable brings it up to about 60 to 80 days. And the winters in New England are a little bit longer. And basically my registration runs out in October, on the 31st of October. So I don't ride from October to whenever. And if I'm going to register a bike, it's going to be one of my little bikes. Okay, so we got that all taken care of. And let's keep going. I'm putting you guys on my stand here. Bear with me for a second. Okay, so now we're at the battery. You can see all my electrical right here that I did. I did this stuff when I put this motor on the bike, and this is not correct wiring. This will be all fixed. They're heat shrunk, but they need to be soldered. I did this because I have accessories on the bike, so I'm gonna fix all that come the new season. All right. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys is on these side covers that cover these bikes, these batteries and all that. These have a tendency to blow off. They have a tendency to blow off. So I want to show you guys a quick fix for that. That's going to help save you a lot of money, a lot of aggravation, and a lot of time. If you're driving in a group of guys, with a group of guys or girls, whatever you're riding with, and your side cover falls off and goes underneath their tire, it's going to cause an accident. And on the Yamaha Viragos, they have a real tendency to do just that, blow off and take out people. So I want to show you guys a fix. See your steel frame right here? It's perfect. Take a black zip tie, drill yourself a little bit of a hole right on the side of your side cover, and then you can loop it around, go through the side cover, hide the what do you call it there? The zip tie, and then it ain't gonna, if it falls off, it's just gonna be hanging like this and then going anywhere. And then you can use your hand and pop it back on. Typically, once you get the zip tie on there, you can put a little bit of tension on it and they don't go anywhere. And the reason for these side covers blowing off is because these grommets wear out. Okay, so if you have a worn grommet and this thing pops on easy, that's a bad grommet. They're supposed to be flared right here, and it's supposed to squish that grommet tight. If you can't squish the grommet tight, it ain't gonna hold. It's gonna rattle around and it's gonna be loose. And it's only held on two grommets up top and a slip-on down bottom. Okay, so you may notice I have a giant battery in here. I already started pulling out. This battery is tightly fit into there. This is an AGM battery for a Harley. I put it in my Virago. There's typically a foam inside there, and it takes a skinny battery, and it doesn't have the power to blow itself to hell with. I mean, the cranking on this is an 1100, and you're asking a battery to set up for like a 650 to do, no, I don't think so. So I put a bigger battery in without modifying the box. I just took the foam off. I guess that's a modification, if you will. So on my bike, you might notice I'm missing a bolt here and here, and I'm going to show you why that is. Because my bike has the rocking horses, so I have to take the rocking horse off to get to the bike off, the battery out. And then of course I got the battery cover right there, covers the bottom, so you can't see the battery at all when the side cover's on. And then you get your security strap. So I'm not putting the rocking horse on because I have to put the battery back in for next season, so that'll also sit in my saddlebag. However, what I will do is I will take the 2 bolts that came out, I will stick them back in the bike and give it a couple turns so they can't fall out. This back one here is a motor mount bolt. Keep that in mind when you pull them out. You don't have to go all the way in. Within just a couple turns will do you just fine. Okay, so a couple of things that are going to be sitting in my saddlebag are my side cover, my, what do you call it there, fuel pump cover, the battery cover, and the rocking horse. they call it. Those 4 items will be sitting inside my saddlebag throughout the winter. So without further ado, I'm going to go and get those put back. I'm going to go get them put into my saddlebag. Get them put away because they don't need to be out. And when you put them away, keep all shiny surfaces away from each other. That way they don't scratch each other when they're in there. Okay, all put away for the season. This is the part that I hate doing, is putting the bike away. But it is New England, and I'm not going to be riding it until next season. Okay. Alright, so all my stuff is put away in that bag. I always open my bags and check and see what I got in them, because some of the stuff might have to come out from previous trips. I got nothing in there but a little bit of change. Toll money for the tolls. I am winterizing my motorcycle, Andrew. I'm showing YouTube how I do it.
I'm going to put my small PJ mask outside.
Yep, go ahead, you can go do that.
Okay.
Okay, he's playing his little PJ Masks. Alright, so now I'm not going to fix the electrical until the spring because I have some modifications I have to do to that. But those aren't good connections, by the way. Those are crappy connections. I did that for testing purposes and to make sure that's how I was going to do it. Okay, so I have to pry on the battery a little bit, and I never recommend prying on a battery, so I'm using a little piece of a plastic tool for interior just to kind of wiggle the battery up and jiggle it out a little bit as a wedge, because it is in there. It takes a while to get the see, that's why I don't want to hurt the damage the battery. These tools are like $2, $2 to $3 at the at a pot store. And it takes a little bit of time to maneuver. The battery sits further in. I already got it out a little bit. But I just want to share with you guys how I do that. It's like a shoehorn here, you know what I mean? There's not much room for this battery. It is coming. Alright, so while that's doing that, I got out to a certain point. I can then take off my negative cable. I'm doing that. If you guys want to make yourself a little bit of an easier time getting a big battery like this out, which I'm going to do next time, take a piece of fabric, make a ribbon out of it, put it around the battery before you put it in, then you'll have a couple of straps to pull it out. I forgot to do that this year with this battery, and I'm kicking myself in the butt for it because it is in there really tight. Okay. However, they will come out.
Hey.
Andrew, please go play, buddy. I'm doing this. Battery's so big you can't even get a grip on it. I can now though. Once you get to a certain part, it comes out pretty easy. Okay. Now I disconnect my top on the positive. Okay. This is an AGM battery, and I'm going on my 4th year with it. I don't leave it outside in the freezing cold. My bike, you know, is in the shed. I'll put this up top here so you can see which one I'm using. There's no acid leaking on it. And I got this battery from Napa Auto Parts. And it's the one used in the Harley. And this is a Napa Legend AGM Okay, it's a spill-proof battery. You could turn this thing completely upside down. If this was a regular battery, there was no way I'd put it on top of my saddlebags, because you'd have acid on it. Excuse me. But there's no acid in this battery. It's like a gel-filled, or I forgot what's in them, but it's a, I could tip this battery upside down on my saddlebags. Right now it's upside down on my leather saddle, my nice saddlebags. There's a battery on top of it, and there's no leak. Can't leak out, which is nice. And then what I'll do, this is a 340 cold cranking amp. I'll show you. Here's the part number right there. If you have a Virago and you need a battery, that's the part number right there. Non-spillable, 340 cold cranking amp. This just spins the bike right over. It don't even think about. Half the time it just fires up. And I mean, it's great. It runs all my lights perfectly, and it has a really long crank time if you needed it. So I will address this wiring, leaving that out. Put all my terminals and stuff back in there, tuck it all back in. And I'm not changing the oil. I'm gonna let the oil stay in there for the winter. And because coming the spring, we're gonna do that remote oil. This is where my oil filter is located, right here. So we're gonna be putting a remote oil filter on here. So that's gonna be non-void. There's gonna be a piece there with two lines, two nice steel braided lines coming off the front, and there's gonna be an oil cooler in there. So that's pretty much it for winterizing. I have to replace my tires, but normally what I would do is, I'm putting it away, I would fill them up to specifications and that sort of thing. And I would check my brake fluid to see if it was brown or black, which mine is actually in good shape right there. You can see through the window. But if it was dark brown, now is the time to replace it so it doesn't sit in the winter and get the beating that it does not deserve. And then come springtime, we're gonna do some wiring. I have these reflectors right here. I have those in LED lights, and I also have those bottom ones. So we're gonna throw some accessories on the bike come springtime, and that oil cooler. But that's pretty much all I have for the winterizing on the Yamaha Virago. It's real simple. I just take my air filter off. I plug the hole so no mice can get into it. I drain my carburetors. I drain my fuel. I take all my plastics and chromes and I stick them in the saddlebags, and then I stick all the screws back in the bike. I bring the battery inside, throw it on the trickle charger, and I do that periodically throughout the winter, like I do all my bikes and four-wheelers and stuff that I'm not using. And that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, by all means send them my way. So this is my Virago, and it's winterized. Have a good day, guys. Thank you guys for watching.